The kitchen smelled like coffee and rain. The window was cracked open, and the faint hum of traffic from 2 blocks over mixed with the steady drip of water from the gutter. It was a Thursday morning, 6:47 a.m., and I was sitting at the table with my laptop open, reviewing our joint account statement. That's when I saw the transfer, $5,000, outbound, to an account I didn't recognize. I stared at the routing number for a full minute before I clicked deeper. Then I saw it again, and again. Monthly transfers, going back 18 months. Always 5,000, always to the same place. I opened a new tab and searched the account number. It came back to a regional bank we'd never used. I closed the laptop. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. It just sat there in my chest like a stone at the bottom of a well. When Jennifer came downstairs 20 minutes later, I had her coffee ready. Black, 2 sugars, like always. She kissed the top of my head without looking at me and sat down across the table. I slid the laptop toward her. The screen still showed the transaction history. She glanced at it, took a sip of coffee, and set the cup down carefully on the coaster. "We need to talk about this," I said. She looked at me then, not startled, not guilty, just tired. "It's my account, David, my money." $90,000, I said, over 18 months, from our joint account. "From my salary," she corrected. "I put more into that account than you do. I'm allowed to save." I nodded slowly. "You're right. You do earn more. But we agreed. Joint account, joint decisions, joint transparency." She exhaled through her nose and looked out the window. "I knew you'd make it a thing." "Make what a thing?" "This, the interrogation, the wounded husband routine." She stood up, smoothing her blouse. "I'm 46 years old, David. I'm not asking permission to manage my own finances." I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just watched her pick up her bag, check her phone, and walk toward the door. She paused at the threshold and turned back. "If you want to make this a problem," she said, "that's on you." The door closed. I sat there in the kitchen, the coffee going cold in front of me. That was the moment something inside me went quiet. My name is David Allen Brenner. I'm 52 years old. For 23 years, I worked in compliance and risk management for a mid-sized logistics firm. It's not glamorous work. It's the kind of job where you prevent disasters no one ever hears about. I was good at it because I noticed patterns. I saw what didn't fit. Jennifer and I had been married for 19 years. We met at a wedding. She was a financial analyst, smart, focused, ambitious in ways I wasn't. I liked that about her. I thought it balanced us. She handled our investments. She managed the taxes. I handled the house, the repairs, the grocery runs, the oil changes. It worked, or I thought it did. Looking back, I can see the erosion. Small things. The way she'd correct me in front of friends about facts I knew were true. The way she'd sigh when I suggested we eat somewhere specific. The way she stopped asking my opinion on things that mattered, her job offers, her family visits, how we spent holidays. I let it go. I let a lot go. I told myself it was compromise. I told myself marriage was about choosing your battles. But $90,000 wasn't a battle I'd chosen. It was one she'd started without me. I took the day off work. I didn't tell Jennifer. I just called in and used a personal day. Then I went through everything. Bank statements, credit card records, tax filings. I created a spreadsheet. Every transaction from the joint account over the past 3 years. It took me 6 hours. By the time I finished, the sun was setting, and the kitchen was dark except for the glow of my screen. The transfers had started small. 1,000 here, 1,500 there. Then they became regular. 5,000 every month like clockwork. But that wasn't all. There were cash withdrawals, large ones. 300, 500, sometimes 1,000 at a time. Always from ATMs near her office. I cross-referenced them with her work calendar. They happened on days she said she was working late. I found her secondary email address in the browser history on the shared iPad. It wasn't hidden, just not mentioned. I opened it. There were statements from the secret account. The balance was $427,000. I read that number 3 times. $427,000. Money I didn't know existed. Money built from our joint account, from bonuses she'd never mentioned, from inheritance I thought had gone to her sister. I didn't feel angry, I felt focused. I called my brother that night. Michael's an attorney, corporate law, but he knows people. I told him what I'd found. He didn't ask if I was sure. He didn't tell me to calm down. He just said, "Don't confront her yet. Document everything. Send me what you have." I did. Then I sat in the living room with the lights off and waited for Jennifer to come home. She arrived at 9:20 p.m., carrying takeout. She seemed surprised to see me still awake. "You want some?" she asked, holding up the bag. "No," I said, "but I do want to talk about the account." She froze, just for a second. Then she set the bag on the counter and turned toward me. "We already talked about this." "We didn't," I said. "You told me it was your money, but it's not. 60% of what's in that account came from our joint funds. Funds we both contributed to. Funds we agreed were shared." Her jaw tightened. "You went through my email." "I went through the iPad. Your email was open." "That's a violation, David. So is hiding $400,000. She stared at me. I could see her calculating. Then she crossed her arms. "I was protecting myself." "From what?" "From this. From you. From being trapped." I didn't flinch. I just waited. "You're a good man," she continued, her voice softer now, almost kind. "But you're not ambitious. You're not a risk taker. I needed a safety net in case things didn't work out." "Things," I repeated. "You mean us." She didn't answer. I stood up. "I'm staying at Michael's tonight. We'll talk more tomorrow." She looked genuinely surprised. "David, you don't have to." "I do," I said, and I walked past her, grabbed the bag I'd already packed, and left. Michael's guest room smelled like cedar and old books. I lay on the bed fully clothed and stared at the ceiling. My phone buzzed 6 times before midnight. I didn't answer. I didn't block her. I just let it ring. The next morning I met with Michael's colleague, a divorce attorney named Catherine Marsh. She had gray hair and kind eyes, and a legal pad covered in precise handwriting. I showed her everything, the statements, the transfers, the emails. She read through it all without expression. When she finished, she set her pen down and looked at me. "You have a strong case for misappropriation of marital assets. Depending on how she responds, we can pursue full recovery plus damages." "I don't want to destroy her," I said. "Then what do you want?" I thought about that. "I want the truth, and I want what's fair." Catherine nodded. "Fair we can do." Over the next 2 weeks, I became a different kind of man. Not louder, not harder, just clearer. I opened my own account. I transferred exactly half of what remained in the joint account. I changed my direct deposit. I canceled the credit cards in my name. I gathered every piece of documentation Catherine requested. Pay stubs, tax returns, receipts, photographs of household purchases I'd made alone. Jennifer called 18 times in those 2 weeks. I answered twice. Both conversations were brief. The first time she asked if I was coming home. I told her I wasn't sure yet. The second time she told me I was overreacting. I told her I'd let her know when the attorney had something to share. "Attorney?" Her voice went sharp. "You got an attorney?" "You hid $400,000 from me, Jennifer. What did you think would happen?" She hung up. 3 days later, I got a text from her sister Diane. It said I was being unfair, that Jennifer had every right to protect herself financially, that I was punishing her for being smart. I screenshotted it and sent it to Catherine. I didn't reply. Then the letters started arriving. Formal letters from Jennifer's attorney. They accused me of abandonment, of financial manipulation, of violating her privacy. Catherine responded to each one with calm, clinical precision. She requested full disclosure of the hidden account. She requested documentation of every deposit. She requested a full accounting of Jennifer's bonuses and inheritance. Jennifer's attorney tried to stall. Catherine filed a motion to compel. The judge granted it. I checked the time when I got Catherine's email, 4:02 p.m. The documents arrived 4 days later. Jennifer had deposited $160,000 from a bonus she'd never mentioned. Another $80,000 from her mother's estate, money she'd told me went to Diane. The rest came from the joint account, just like I documented. But there was something else. Statements showing she'd consulted a divorce attorney 8 months ago. Long before I'd found anything. Long before our kitchen conversation. I sat with that information for a full hour. Then I called Catherine. She was planning this, I said. It appears so. Why not just leave? Catherine was quiet for a moment. Some people want the safety net before they jump. Some people want to control the narrative. And some people want to make sure they get everything before they walk away. I thought about Jennifer's face that morning in the kitchen, the way she'd corrected me, the way she'd called it her money, the way she'd looked at me like I was an obstacle, not a partner. What's next? I asked. We negotiate, or we go to court. How long does court take? 8 months, maybe more. I closed my eyes. Let's try negotiating first. The meeting happened in a conference room downtown, neutral territory. Catherine sat beside me. Jennifer sat across from us with her attorney, a sharp-dressed man named Roland who smiled too much. Jennifer looked tired. She'd lost weight. Her eyes kept darting to me, then away. Roland opened with an offer. Jennifer would keep the hidden account. I would keep the house. We'd split the joint retirement funds 50-50. No alimony either way. Catherine didn't blink. Your client misappropriated $96,000 from marital funds. We're requesting full reimbursement plus 50% of the remaining balance in the hidden account. Roland laughed. That account was funded primarily by Miss Brenner's independent income. After marital funds were used to cover household expenses, Mr. Brenner assumed a loan, Catherine replied. She slid a folder across the table. 5 years of grocery receipts, utility bills, home repairs, and car maintenance, all paid by Mr. Brenner while Miss Brenner's income was funneled into an account he knew nothing about. Jennifer's face went pale. She leaned toward Roland and whispered something. He frowned. We'd like a recess, Roland said. Take your time, Catherine replied. They left the room. Catherine looked at me. You okay? I nodded. I was. I felt steady. I felt clear. When they came back 20 minutes later, Jennifer looked at me directly for the first time. I didn't do this to hurt you, she said. I held her gaze. You did it anyway. She flinched. Roland cleared his throat. We're prepared to offer a revised settlement. Ms. Brenner will reimburse Mr. Brenner $96,000 from the account in question. The remaining funds stay with Ms. Brenner. The house goes to Mr. Brenner, with Ms. Brenner's name removed from the deed. Retirement funds split 50-50, no alimony. Catherine looked at me. I thought about it, about the years, about the kitchen table, about the moment she'd said it was her money, as if I'd never mattered at all. One condition, I said. I want a written acknowledgement that the hidden account was funded in part by marital assets, and that its concealment violated our financial agreement. Roland started to object, but Jennifer raised her hand. Fine, she said quietly. I'll sign it. Roland stared at her. Jennifer, I'll sign it, she repeated. We signed the papers 3 weeks later. Different rooms, different times. I never saw her again. I changed the locks on a Saturday morning. It was raining, the same soft drizzle that had been coming through the kitchen window the day I found the account. I stood in the doorway afterward, holding the new keys, and felt the weight of 19 years lift off my shoulders. The house was quiet, not empty, just mine. I made coffee and sat at the table where it had all started. The rain tapped against the glass. The air smelled clean. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel victorious. I felt unburdened. Silence isn't surrender. Sometimes it's the last act of clarity before you walk away from something that was already gone. If you had been in my place, would you have fought for the marriage or let it go the moment you found the account? Tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Your presence means more than you know. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Let's keep walking this road together.